Hey friends, so now we are going to be looking at dot plots. There is a reason they are called dot plots. We are literally plotting dots to analyze the data that we have collected. Just like I said with the frequency tables, there's going to be data that when you collect it, it would make sense to put it on a dot plot. There's going to be data that when you collect it, it would make more sense to put it on a frequency table. And then there's going to be data that will make sense for a stem and leaf plot. It really just depends on the data you are collecting. So ultimately, we are going to take this right here and make it look like this. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So just like last time, we have the data that has already been collected for us, and they have already created the kind of bones of the dot plot for us. So we are looking at the number of petals that are growing on flowers. So here you can look at the columns and it'll label for you what each column means. So this column right here is telling you this is flower number 1, flower number 2, flower number 3, flower number 4. This is telling you how many petals are on that particular flower. Now this column repeats itself. We have a total of 12 flowers that they looked at, so we don't need to use the method of figuring out how many total data points we collected, because we already know that there were a total of 12 flowers that were examined. So we're going to have 12 data points that we collected. Now, what they did already notice, and they already put it on our dot plot for us, is that there were some reoccurring numbers. So you either had 4 petals, 5 petals, or 6 petals that were growing on each of these flowers. So already we have our line, we have the number of petals, and that's labeled. This is important that you put that label there, that way we know what we are looking at, and you also have a title at the top. So now we're going to go through and we are going to plot all of these data points on our dot plot. So I'm going to look at flower number 1. I'm going to follow the same process that I did with frequency tables. I want to make sure that as soon as I have plotted that point, I'm crossing it out so I know that it's taken care of. So flower number 1 had 6 petals, so I'll put a dot right above the 6, cross out that 6. Flower number 2 had 5, cross it out. Flower number 3 had 6. So when you add another dot, you're going to go right on top. It's important that your dots are similar in size and that you don't make them too large. You want to be able to see what you are plotting, but you don't want it to go above and beyond where your dot plot is. Flower number 4 had 4. Number 5 had 6. Number 6 had 4. Number 7 had 5. Another 4. 6. 5. 6. And 6 again. Okay, so a few things I want you to notice about how I plotted my points. I made sure that my dots were similar in size. I also made sure that they were neatly above the number. They weren't over here to this side or over here to that side. You don't want them to kind of like sway either way, because then it could be confusing. Was it a 6? Was it a 5? I don't know. So you want to make sure that it's going in a line all the way up. So now we have all of our data on our table, so we can take this table and we can start answering questions about the data that was collected. First question, how many flowers were examined? We don't even need to look at the table for that one. We can actually look at the data. We already saw that there was a total of 12 flowers examined. What number of petals was most popular? We can see just by looking at how tall this dot plot is that 6 was most popular. Which petal number was least popular? So it's not really a trick question, but maybe a little bit of a trick question. 4 and 5 were the same. They both ended up having 3 dots. So we can say 4 and 5. We'll just put it like that. Which two numbers of petals have the highest count? So once again, we don't have two numbers that have the highest count. We actually just have one. So we'll just cross that out, change it to a 1, and it ended up being 6. 6 has the highest count, okay? So now that we can look at this, we can see that once we've taken this data, we're just gonna make sure that we plot the points, and then you can use this table to answer your questions, okay? So you are going to be doing this in Google Classroom with your Google Slides. You're going to be given information, and you'll be having to look at dot plots, and you'll be making your own dot plots, all right? See you later, guys.